Dema Jumden Dendi Shava Rajumba Yana Zobe Sanjeri Wada Shansun Dema Deoration Jidin Jamba Jubun Devil Kano Juban Lana Adam Menam Jedemba Sanjay Jumden Bejawa Shajan Zubana Chatin or Chudwa Jazo Dema Jumden Dendi Shava Rajumba Yana Zobe Sanjeri Wada Shansun Dema Deoration Jidin Jamba Jubun Devil Kano Juban Lana Adam Menam Jedem Sanjay Jumden Bejawa Shajan Chatin or Chudwa Jazo Dema Jumden Dendi Shinship Rajumba Yalaba Zobe Sanjay Wada Shansun Deoration Jidin Jamba Jubun Devil Kano Juban Lana Adam Menam Jedem Sanjay Jumden Bejawa Shajan Chatin or Chudwa Jazo Kazan Zobo Jadam Sergeant did not combat different. Unincident did not charges. Tesekiaba Jala Charles and London of Ishaja Society Moda, Trabanjid and Sundam. Umboshuni Jala Charles and Sinjon the Marchiment of it. Sendo Java Jala Charles and the region of Civil so much. Yaman Jala Charles and Longombo to Jay and Bottom Jay. Sonomy and Danger Society, Shenjama Charles and Tabin de Central. Giving us on the dredging, the Namashogan was in you, China. Trinity Lanya, Lavatala, Shinget, Gideon Lanya Charles, and the watching and Major, go up as also. Ragazin Yonzo, then the Sanjay Temple, Kamara. You must have a sugar dominant Lord agenda with decision on the Solomon D. and Jesse. Command the Ginger, rather than God on the Shiva Lodge. To the
teacher, the blessed one, the one gone beyond, the full destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, no other word, supreme guide of beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and humans, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the blessed one, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan. I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the teacher, the blessed one, the one gone beyond, the full destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, no other word, supreme guide of beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and humans, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the blessed one, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan. I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the teacher, the blessed one, the one gone beyond, the full destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, no other word, supreme guide of beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and humans, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the blessed one, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan. I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, O supreme among humans, you born on this earth, you paced 1,000 strides and said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise then I prostrate. With pure bodies form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 words. We know the best, to you I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. You are immaculate, the 3 words of God, incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the teacher having all understanding, the field of air to the qualities like a vast ocean, to you the one gone to dustness I prostrate. The purity which makes one free from attachment, the virtue which frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dharma which pacifies I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the sublime community intending virtue I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue your mind thoroughly, This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star mirage of flammable lamp,
an illusion,
a drop of dew or bubble, a dream of flash and lightning or cloud. See conditioned things as such. Through these merits, may sentient beings attain rank of all seeing, subdue the four forms, and be delivered from motion of suffering, of aging, sickness, and death.
Sanje Jano Zoje Jano Chanju Bado Dane Jazu Nagin Jazo Jebe Zonam Ji Dola Benje Sanje Drubush Sanje Jano Zoje Jano Chanju Bado Dane Jazu Nagin Jazo Jebe Zonam Ji Dola Benje Sanje Drubush Sanje Jano Zoje Jano Chanju Bado Dane Jazu Nagin Jazo Jebe Zonam Ji Dola Benje Sanje Drubush.
I go for refuge and enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Through the merit I create by practicing giving and the other professions, may I quickly attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and Sangha. Through the merit I create by practicing giving and the other professions, may I quickly attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and Sangha. Through the merit I create by practicing giving and the other perfections, may I quickly attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings.
Sanje Jumden so on the Shinshabat and Sonam Dagi Jutum, Givetsawan, the Machumis, Severa Dogem, Sonam Yeteran, Bejas, Bonam Yetum, Channel Gemedogi, Jurema Tomatona, Medema, but the Vemba, number Sheriff Sigim, Toma, Simjadam Jadama, Chajus and Bandam Java, Pave, Zona Jevo, Yangan and the Rotonjo, the Jovana Jetive, Shabadam, Povason, Sonam number Yanam. Kuje da ve chome je boku somba me ban de ba ta ma ba so da ne wa ma ba so me ba ta da ma de du ne na number de bo pu ma da na number de ba kam na da me de ba je ja na ma de ba ne shi de je ba yo zo do wa da na number de ba si ba le de bo chu wo le ge ba yi shi yo zo da ba de ba da ma ju ma da da de san je jim ne de je yi she la ne ba ya ga ne de ba na me de ba yang da ba ni je da la de sim je dam je la si be sa la shu ba de da ne san je jim ne de ku chi be de yang da ba Tabe Jena Domageba, Padegeba, Tamageba, Hanson, Sindrosaba, Madeba, Yanzo, Yanzo Chang. Yanda Batuma Nemeba, Ticheva, Mevanyavata, but Detoma, Dinga, Kevana, Suzora Gajubaji. Jimne never to be sure the one I never to be Yabajumazo, Chanjo, the Drovachima, Medema, Medebata, Temayu, Tevajima, Billionaire, never should go to Temaja, Charge. Sonam Jebe Jishin, Yun, Joachim, Jabena, Kunduma, Jabena, Chimbo, Kangia to the Yasuna, Tawata, Japan, Vegetation, the Desert, Kodum, and Charts. So, last Saturday we talked about precious human rebirth, because precious in the context of the potential within the human life, human being. So, human being has the potential to think, to gain profound knowledge, and therefore the human being can find the path to liberation, enlightenment. With that context, human life, the human rebirth is considered to be precious. And then the opportunity for finding the path to liberation is also depending on their cosmic conditions, the cosmic conditions like 61 saying that to dwell in a place that benefits the task. So something that you are in the environment that benefits your practice. And rely on holy beings or teachers who can, show you the path to enlightenment and liberations. And you have dedicated to have a conducive life from the previous life, and then you have enough potential or the quality, which means that includes intelligence, honesties, and diligence. So this merit are the condition, that facilitate the finding the path to enlightenment and the liberations. So that's you already have it. And then and 63 is talking about to be reborn with the false beliefs. You are not born in false belief. You are not born as an animal or pretas, like a hungry ghost, not in hell realm, So you are not born, or you are not in the place that you cannot heard, you cannot hear the teachings of Buddhas. So you are not born in like a form realm, the Brahman's realms. So Brahman's realms, people, who are born in the form realm, the Brahman's realms, they don't have any condition to find, to generate compassion, to take the vows, to listen to the teachings. So you are not born in there, and you are not born in the isolated place that no one can come and go. You are not dull, you are not dumb. So now saying this is the conducive life. And then the 64s are born among the long-lived gods. So you are not born in the god realms. So the god realms, the sentient beings in the god realms, or the god beings, I think they have less chances to find the path to liberation and enlightenment because they don't really, counter with any condition to their need to generate the compassion, the renunciations, bodhicittas, enlightenment. So they just enjoy. So you are not born in that God realms. Of these 8 defective stages that give no opportunity, you must be free. You must be free from all these, unfortunate conditions, and finding the opportunity to be diligent to put a stop to a birth. So therefore, now you have a precious human rebirth, or that, so you can, the best you can do in this life, or use this human intelligence to find the path to stop the birth in secular existence, which means again the liberations, right? So for the liberations, and standards number 65, it says, "O gentle sir, to make your disenchantment to grow with this samsara, the source of many pains, desire, frustrated, death, ill health, old age, please hit its defects, even just a few. So which now 65 is saying, now, therefore, now you try to, at least try to generate the renunciations. At least try to see any faults in your negative emotions, negative actions, negative speech, negative mentalities or habit. Try to see the faults of those negative actions and negative emotions. This is, understanding the faults of the negative emotions and negative actions is called renunciations. So you are trying to renounce from this, renounce from the uncertain life, which, with these perceptions, eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, mental consciousness, all the informations that you have, all the knowledge, all the capabilities, speech, and physical actions, and the mind, and most of the time we use those potential or the quality to cause the condition to be born, many times born in a lower realm. So when you see the faults of the negative emotions and actions, so then you will generate kind of genuine desire to seek for the liberations. So the please hits its defects, even just a few. So that's talk with renunciations. Renunciations, renounce from the cyclic existence, renounce from wrongdoing, renounce from the cause of hell realm, renounce from the cause of born in hungry ghost, renounce from the cause of born in human being or God being, So renounce to the end of the birth in cyclic existence, renounce to transcendence of the suffering. So renounce to the cessation of the cause of suffering. So that's about the renunciations. So if you don't generate, if you have no renunciations, and of course there is no chance to attain enlightenment. There is no chance to, attain the liberations. So therefore, renunciations is the gateway, or it is the first cause which can, lead you to the liberation and enlightenment. So then the renunciation, there's two kinds of renunciation here. This generally renunciation is knowing the faults of the negative emotional and negative actions. And the second, Mahayana, and according to Mahayana, their renunciations is kind of here is like compassion. So the compassion to yourself, compassion to others. So that is also kind of renunciations that renounce to enlightenment. So to generate the compassions, in number 666, saying that now in order to generate the renunciations, so you have, now here it's saying that renounce from, constantly cycling in samsara, in the human being or God being, or so any animals, or many rebirths. And then if you have that much, if you have been, you have been born again and again, countless time in samsara, then think, men who have fathered, so the man who's you're being fathered, maybe next life is your son, or son, in turn are, in turn are sons, and mothers likewise the daughters. Bitter foes turn into friend. The converse too is true. Converse true means if you have, your son can be your father's, your mother can be your daughter can be your wife. So that's this in this circle, there is no order. There's no order. So if you think that you have born so many times, means you have related to the every sentient beings, in this world, in this other world, or whole this universe. So there is no sentient beings that is not related to you or have the relation to you. And many of the sentient beings who are in the samsara, like hell being, and they may have committed negative karma for you. So they are born in hell realms. So many sentient beings who are in the hungry ghosts, maybe they have some committed negative karma to be born in hell realm and for you. Or some may have attained nirvana for you, because of you. Maybe you annoy them, so they generate renunciations. So there is countless life in the sacred existence, countless relation with sentient beings. Because of this, samsaras never sure, so there is no certain, So based on that countless life in the past, so countless life in the futures, when you think, then each time you're born, so each time you're born, you you are protected, you are cherished by mothers and her milk. So 67 says, note that every being has drunk more milk than all the 4 great oceans could contain. So if you have that much, countless life in this life, so you must have drink the milk from the mothers. The milk contains in the 4 great oceans. And still, by emulating the common folks, so still saying you're doing the same thing, repeating, so same action, same emotional, keep repeating. So that means you are conditioning yourself to be born again and again, drink more milk again and again, many times died. And so their circle, they will circle drinking even more and more. So this is how you this is according to Mayan traditions, generally the renunciations is like that, seeing the faults of the karma and afflictive emotions, and then how many times you are protected, cherished, you have drunk the milk from the mothers, how many times they have, sentient beings had gone to hell realm 1,000 times for, for your protections, for your safeties, you know. So mother has created so many negative karmas, even more and more. And then says, and about the death, countless times you died. So each time you died with the body, that left. So then 68 said, the heap of all the bones each being has left, which reach to the mirror's top. So mountains, yeah. So it can, if you stack up all the bones, from your dead body, so it was much, higher than the mountain, even higher. To count one's mother's the lineage with pills, if you try to find the, counting the number, so how many times you born from mothers, then it counts in the pills, the size of the berries, they each would not, how's that? The earth would not suffice. So it cannot count, even the small bits of the berry. And so I think so now they're saying this in the Mayan traditions, the language they use, mother sentient beings. So mother sentient beings. So the two paths, the Hinayana path, one that's seeking one's own liberations, one another, the Mahayana. Saint Mahayana, who is not only practicing, contemplating the falls of the karma and negative emotions, they're also thinking that while that time you are with these falls of the karma and afflictions, how many times you have born. And when you thousands and millions and countless times you're born, and how many times you have relation with the sentient beings. How many times the sentient beings have been your mothers. Not one time, not 1,000 times, not million times, not billion times, more than that. And each time you born from the mothers, how many times you drink milk. So all the milk that contains is become, it will be much, much greater than four great oceans. So here in this contemplations gives you the two kind of aspect. One saying that due to the falls of the karma and afflictive emotions, you have again and again you're born from the mothers. Another aspect is how many times the mother, sentient beings, has protect you, cherish you. How long, with one life, how long until, the, death of the mother, she always concerned and worried about you. And then within that, because of the attachment to the child, how many times the mother has committed negative karmas. Therefore, how many times the mother has gone to the hell realm and hungry ghosts, animal realms, because of you. So, and how many times you have died, and all this bone, that dead body, so if you kind of imagine the hip of that bones is much higher than the Mount Mirror, the greatest mountain. So So now this saying that this contemplations, generates or brings two kind of awareness. One that falls to the karma and afflictive emotions. The second, and kind of the genuine respect, sense of care for the other sentient beings. So then 69 is talking about the uncertainty of the life, saying that the Indra, the king of the god, the universally revered. So he was the god of the god, or king of the king. Even you're born as a king of the king, or God, God king, will fall again to the earth through the actions forces. So if you're born, in the Indra, and you again kind of die and born on the earth, and due to the force of this karma, and he who ruled the universe as a king is someone who is powerful, become the powerful in the one life. He may have ruled whole universe, will be slave within the samsara's will. And next life, he will be, there's no sure. He may be beggar or slave. So now this is saying that even you have generated some kind of positive karma, you have collected so many positive karma. If that karma is positive, but still attached to the negative emotional in the karma, still you are not free from that. So therefore, even that positive karma may give you the result for one life or two life, but still, it puts you in another life in much, much lower than that. So there is no certainty, even the positive karma. So from the beginning it says, the best of your effort is to generate the wisdom that can end the cyclic life. So if someone who can hear this teaching, contemplate the teaching of the dependent originations, through that, you generate the dependent originations, understanding of the emptiness, and you may have some kind of plant the seed to gain the wisdom that can end the birth and cyclic existence. So that's why human rebirth is precious in that context, right? So and then about the pleasure in this world is also it's not fallible, it's not really reliable. So in the 70 stanzas number 70 is for ages it was rapture to cares, right? The lovely lovely breast and the waist of the heavens made. Now one will bear the terrible cares, the crash and slash and tear of the hell's machine. So even you're born, maybe one time you're born in the high rebirths, you may have so much that you can indulge with beautiful women, and the next life you will be in hell realm, the crash slash, and born again in this hell's machine. So there is no even the pleasure in cyclic samsara, cyclic existence, and how much or how long you have, experienced the pleasures, no matter how long you have experienced it, how much you enjoy it, but still, in the future, there is no certainty. That is way. So therefore, you need to generate the renunciations. So renunciations is kind of, is kind of understanding the false of karma and afflictive emotions, and understanding the defects of the birth in samsara, and which means if you understand the defects of the birth in samsara and defects of the pleasurable experience in samsara, the defects of the power of the samsara, or wealth in samsara, so then automatically you will generate the desire, genuine desire for the liberation, which means again to find the end of the birth and cycle existence. So another pleasure is 71, saying, for years you might have stayed on mirror's crest, delighting as it yelled underfoot. So you may be born in, very high rebirth, and you don't have to walk on the solid, you don't have to walk on the dirt and solid rock. Everywhere you just walk, there is a foam, sponge. So whole life, you do that. But think now of the torment that will strike to wade through glowing coals and rotten flesh. So that is also for a short time. And the future is too long, So still the uncertainties, you may, right after that, the end of that life, you may be born in hell realm. So there is no kind of reliable, sustainable peace and joy and pleasure, or the the opportunity, fortunate conditions. There is no in samsara. There is no reliable, sustainable. So number 72 says, those who in the joyous garden played, in the god realms, they play in the garden, in the, and in the beauties the groves were served by heaven's mate. So even that time, like it's for a short time, is a movie. So we'll come to wood of the trees, the sword-like leaves. So you may be born in that hell realms. You're trying to climb up the tree. All the trees, the leaves of the trees, is like sword-like leaves. It cuts your bodies. So cut their hands and feet, their ears and the nose. So what is the reliable in the samsara? What is the reliable joy and pleasure in samsara? So which means again it says now, please think. Try your best to generate some kind of planting the seed for the liberations. Maybe next life or after 16 life, 20 life, if you plant the seed for the liberations, and then there is some kind of hope to end this birth and cycle existence. So number 73 is among the golden lotus and the lovely maids, they bathe in the heaven's gently flowing pool, swimming pool. So you're taking a bath with heaven's lovely maids. But into hell's own waters will they plunge. So after finish this, consuming the positive result from the one particular positive actions, if you consume the also result, the consequences exhaust, and again you fall back, So you plunge in hell realms waters. Scaldings, how's that? Caustic river, none can ford. So you will be born again in these hell realms. So there is no certainty. If you are in the hell realm for a while, you're kind of experiencing the consequence of negative actions. Although you're in hell realm, maybe after you finish this, how's that? After all the negative actions that you have experienced, and then you may be born again in a human being. So again, human being that is also not certainty. So again, you can go back and again. So now the main point is, try to seek for the liberations, try to generate the renunciations. So how you do a Kamaloka goat. A Kamaloka goat. So Kamalaga god is a desire god, Kamalaga god, and once again the such bliss as a Brahma, the bliss that free from all desire, but now that after that comes constant pain, as firewood one feeds, how's that? ABC flame. So the desire God, there's some kind of such a bliss that you experience in there. And also, you may be born in the Brahman's realm that is free from desire attachment, but still you haven't really, eliminated the seed of the afflictive emotions. You still have seed. So then with that seed, with another conditions, you may develop some kind of attachment, anger, or, so that again bring you back in the hell realms. So number 75 says, one who was reborn as a sun or moon, whose body is the light lit whole world far below, will then arrive in the state of the darkest gloom. His, outstretched hand will be invisible. So now this was kind of saying there's so these are kind of traditional belief that you know, even this, the gods who born as the sun or the moon, sun. So, but still there is limited to be, even the sun light is maybe a billions years ago, still may remain another few billions year. But at the end, just because it is, as how say, atoms, the particles. So atoms, the particles move towards the end. It will destroy. It will be, it's not infinite. There's no infinite light in sun. There's no infinite lifespan of the sun. So still, if there is the God in there, they may be in that light, but the next light, after they finish this, or all these positive results, totally consumed, and you may be born in the darkest gloom, and even stretch your hand, you cannot see your hand. So you will be born where, when you try to look at your hand, you couldn't see it. So saying that now you have to, think again and again, is there any possible, is there any, any chances to end the birth and second existence? Number 76, so thus it is you will, how's that? The number uses so namsum ale, right? Namsum ramen now rapshi chibun yamanda vemjibe, mena tada nam juselo, the number uses so namsum ramen now rapshi. So thus it is you will err, and knowing this, knowing this, please seize the lamp of the merits, triple form. For otherwise you will plunge and go alone in the deepest dark until by sun or moon. So this is also saying that, there's uncertainty in the life.
What is the merits triple form?
Merits triple form. Yeah, let me see in the commentary. So thus it is knowing that you will ill, thus meaning die, right? Experiencing in the variety of the ways such things as the impermanence of the life and the falling into lower state after staying in the lighter realms, higher realms, after staying in the higher realms, firmly seize the light of the lamp that dispel the darkness of the lower realms. Firmly seize, to hold on the light of the lamps So the three kind of merits, those that comes from generosity, discipline, and meditations. Generosity, the discipline, meditations. Those related to the body, speech, and mind. So triple is body, speech, and mind, merit from the body, speech, and mind. So the positive actions, physical actions, positive speech, positive thinking. So hold firm with this, which means the continues to hold on to the positive actions, positive speech, and the positive mind. So I think hold on means this positive three body, speech, and mind, positive actions are the conditions that keep you from falling into lower realms. So now, positive actions, physical actions, positive speech, positive thought, and the positive thinking. So these three conditions have the quality to keep you from falling into lower realms. So again, that positive actions is also, if not associated, underpinned with wisdom, realizing emptiness, and compassion. And again, you may born for a while in the fortunate realm, but still, depending on your actions, there is always chances to fall back. So therefore, again, find the right path, right thought, and the deeper understanding of the dependent originations, to end this birth and second existence. So number 77, for beings who indulge in the evil deeds, there is the constant pain in these and other hells. Reviving hell, black-lined, intense heat, the crushing, screaming, torment, unsuppressed. So now it's kind of like a bit more scary and scarier. So first, generally, when you imagine the hell realm, it's okay, but here this is more detailed. For beings who indulge in the evil deeds, the constant pain in this and other hell, reviving hell. Reviving hell is the hell realm, this says yang sui, we call it yang sui. Reviving hell realm is you are in the hell realm and you may be fighting with other, hell fellow. So you may be fighting with knife, you are not, the weapons, fighting. You are not going to die. And you're also not going to kill the others. Keep fighting and a lot of pain, And then once you are dead, and then from the sky it says, come back again. And you again come back, and again you die. This is good yang sui. And sometimes you may be, eaten by another sentient beings. It's almost like a dream. It's a very nightmare dream. And you've been eaten, you've been cut, maybe you have bodies eaten, and you're almost dying. And again, in this space that says, come back again. So life again, and again you sin. So it's kind of like endless suffering. So this is called, what's that? Reviving health. So black, what's that? Black line, 听到 we call 听到, Yang Shu, 听到. It's very deep, deepest, in the maybe it's more like like its deepest the hell realms is hardly get out from the hell realms. It's not very easy. So Yang Shu Tina Rabu Sawadas. So then this the intense heat. So it's within the hell realms there is a suffering of the heat. Intense heat. Yang Shu Dunjum crushing. So this is like it's a kind of nightmare or the dream that in the hell realm that you're always harmed and killed and crushed by the like rock falls from the rock or the big what do you call it? Yeah, rock, right? The fall from the mountains. You just crash many times. And screaming. Screaming is young. This is Dunjum Wumbe. Yeah, Wumbe is the like suffering in the cold. So there's two, it's very, the hell realm is very cold, and there's only you can make noise. Your body is kind of stiff by cold. And you can only make the noise screaming. That's called screaming. Then always kind of scared and threatened. There's another the hell realms. So yeah, according to the different school of thought, they try to understand what is the hell realms. And the some of the school, lower school, like Sotandika school, and they says there is no such place, like particular place for the hell realm, but it is you are born in certain conditions, like certain conditions. Your elements are through the karma, your elements, trick you, constant, causing some kind of suffering. Sometimes the heat of elements, sometimes the water elements, sometimes the wind elements. It tricks your mind, and you will have a bad dream. Like for us, in human being, when we have a nightmare, maybe it's 30 minutes, right? 12 minutes, maybe longer, maybe 6 hours. So there, and years, this kind of nightmares. So, in Sotandika school, it says this is all kind of, the reactions of the element that conditioned by your karma. Your karma is, causing some kind of turbulence in the element, and you have this kind of the bad dream. And also the minority school, of course, they don't believe there is such thing as a hell realm. But again, minority says this is, your mind has so much negative imprints that all the imprints, reflects or kind of, manifest, before your mind. So that is the hell realm. And Prasangika school, Vaibhashika school thinks, yes, there is some kind of, hell place. It's not necessary to be, as explained in the text. So, different drums. Some they says the place there is like sentient being born like a tree, sentient beings born like, like walls. Sentient beings are many places there, So these considered is hell realm. So there's a physical hell realm, and again, it's not a city or somewhere you can go. So wherever you're born, you're born in that conditions. So that is called hell realm. So sentient beings who perform the negative actions with their body, speech, and mind will experience the suffering of the hells. What are these sufferings? They are the constant torments that will be experienced in the reviving hell, black line hell, hell of the heat, hell of intense heat, crushing hell, screaming hell, great screaming hell, and hell of the torment, unsuppressed. Yeah, these are bad news. So, but you have to hear the bad news, in order to, to select the good news. So yeah, some are squeezed and pressed like sesame. Others likewise ground like finest flour, chematamas. You also maybe this, you know, some are cut and curved as if with saw. Others hacked. What was that? Is hacked with axes, razor horn. 这些写到出去学的意思呀。And others still are forced to swallow. What's that? 出去 Draughts of burning molten, what's that? Bronze. So that flares and spark. Some has a impaled, right? Impaled, some impaled and threatened into the skewers. Barbed and fire fiercely blazing stake of steel. So it looks like steel company. So yeah, this is part of the teaching. So, some whom savage dog with iron fang. So you can have this kind of nightmare dream. The dog with iron fang will rip to shred, in dread, threw up their hands, and others powerless are packed by crows with sharpened beaks of the steel and razor claw. So there's some kind of animals, like bird animals, they can, pick and then cut in the kaji simple buwan na so ta sharan da man na bu chira ta ren na mesam masu chir jimbe sawa jishin jeto mema des. So maybe ask Nagarjuna, did you see them? Or you're just, My mother used to tell me all, she kind of like the scary hell stories. Sometimes the bedtime stories were very like hell. Sometimes she would show me like, long before one of our neighbors, the man, his father was ill and bedridden for many years, and that the son, the father of the house, always called his father, and then always says, "This much money I have spent, you are not going to, So you kind of always he called his father, and the father could not eat much, and he was in the bed for so many years, and then so one day the father was died, and after a few years, and that man got some kind of illness, and I don't know what kind it is, maybe it's cancer or something. His stomach is like big like this, and his neck is very tiny. So my mother always says that this is hell, So it's the result of how he treats his father. So there is some kind of, the cause and conditions, So bad actions result in bad negative consequences. Positive actions result in positive, positive consequences. So maybe these are the, intense negative karma. So intense negative karma will manifest in the consequences. So some there are who roll about and wail. Kachi simple burban nasota. Simple burban nasota. So maybe this is some other roll and about and wail. How's that? Devoured, right? by worms, right?
Yes.
Multicolored grubs. So kind of, whole bodies consumed by the worms or the bacteria. So bacteria is worms, And and 10,000 buzzing flies and bees that leaves the great stings and bites unbearable to touch. So then also sometimes this is, with intense negative karma, can be in one intense negative karma. If there is possible, you may be within the one life in the hell realm 1,000 times, and sometimes you are depending on the karma, how intense that is, how negative that is. Sometimes you will be, you have many bodies, and each body experience the suffering, the tremendous suffering. And sometimes sometimes there's one karma can be, one karma can be cause you to have many bodies, thousands of bodies. Looks like sometimes you see in the ocean there's the group of the flux, the fish, the group of fish. So they just, they don't really have leader, and then the birds, the flocks, right? Yeah. So there's maybe, and then the flies, they, so it's sometimes intense karma can, conditions to have so many bodies. Some in the heap of the blazing red hot coals, and are burned without a break. Their mouths, how to say? Huh?
Okay.
Agape, yeah. The mouth agape. Mouth agape means and some are boiled in the, how's that? Cauldron made of iron, cooked like dumplings. So heat's turned upside down.
Agape means wide open.
Oh, okay. Mouth agape. The very instant that they ceases and the breath and the wicked taste, boundless pain of hell, and he who hearing this, not afraid, thousand falls and truly diamond heart. Tuji pardushima nyawaye, dunge sheye tuene, namdong du minji kanga, doji ranshin nos. Number tong dunge sheye tuene, namdong du minji kanga, doji ranshin. Yeah, it's not really. Nyawachivasa. If simply seeing the pictures of the hells and hearing, thinking, reading of them scares, or making, how's that, sculpt figures, need we say how hard to bear the ripened fruit will be. So it's kind of, maybe it's kind of idea that, those imaginations, the different kind of hells, the multiple, the varieties of the hell grounds. Because it says we have to, sometimes you have to treat your mind like a child. How you, nourish your mind. Sometimes, it's like children, your own children. So you have to train the mind to be more positive. Sometimes mind listens positive things. Sometimes mind is reluctant or not really affected by the positive thinking. Then mind needs scary information. So you have to scare the mind, saying, if you're born in this way, and there's a lot of sufferings. And that's some kind of, there's some kind of the, there's a pools, and mind may generate some kind of interest in the positive thinking. So So like your way you nourish your children, you cannot just always say positive things. So now this kind of whole, uh, the multi or the verses of this the hell realm to scare the mind to be more positive, to put to put your mind in good positions, positive positions, and then says if this were the suffering, what is the best, reliable, unfailable how's that peace or happiness? And then 85 says all of the forms of the happiness there are. The Lord is the bliss where craving fully spent. So when when there's your attachment or craving or greedy is exhaust, at that time your joy is reliable, sustainable, beneficial. So that kind of joy or happiness, through exhaustions, to reducing the intensity of the craving and greed, is, I think, here, and Nagarjuna said, this is joy, this is the peace. So too, of all the misery there is, the pain is torment, unsurpassed is worst. So the worst of the suffering is, pain and the torment unsurpassed and worst is the, dunge kunje nana narme nyawe dunge ramises. Narme, I think torment unsurpassed and worse is worse. Is hell. I think hell from suffering is the worst. So there's many suffering. There are many suffering. So some in the human realms we consider, as a pleasure, joy, which is still under the, under the influence of the impact or associating with craving and attachment, some kind of pleasures that in the moment it feels like, there is some kind of pleasure, happiness, but when it, finished its term, and it turned into, for sure, it turned into, immeasurable suffering. So these also is, kind of, this saying that so anything that associated with attachment, the pleasure always seems from the beginning, from the beginning it looks like a flower, honey, it sounds very good news. And, in the next moment, it will always turn into bitter and unpleasant dissatisfactions and guilt, minimities. So this is still, those are the conditions of suffering. But the suffering is suffering of change, they call suffering of change. And the suffering of the suffering in the human beings, many kind of disappointments, and the worst of the suffering is hell suffering. For one whole day on earth, 300 dirts might strike you hard and cause you grievous pain. but that could never illustrate or much fractions of the smallest pain in hell. So you may feel some kind of pain with this human body. So you think this is the worst thing happen, but still, compared to the hell realm, it is nothing. So the frightful pains and the torments just described are lived and led throughout 1 billion years. Until those evil deeds are fully spent, one will not die and shed this life in hell. So even now hell realm, they're saying, how much the pain is immense or great, but there is no end. So until your whole karma is burned with that act result. So human being may be sometimes some kind of disappointment, some kind of frustrations. People kill themselves. In the hell realm, you cannot kill yourself. So the seed of these, the fruit, evil deeds, and our sinful act of body, speech, and mind, work hard, therefore, the master of all your skill, to never stray, a hair's breadth into sin. So, it's now saying that don't waste your time in this precious human rebirth. So every moment, every inch of your intelligence, try to get closer to finding the path to the liberations, and to gain some kind of knowledge and skill to train your mind, to subdue the mind. So hell realm is done. Now, now animal realm. For animal, there is multifold distress. They are slaughtered, tied up, beaten. The rest for those, denied the virtue that brings the peace. There's, agonal as one devours the others. So eating each other's, and the binding and the beatings, and abandons. Some of them are killed just for and animals, those killed for their pearls, right? So there's some animals, in the water, in the oceans. So people collect them, grow them for the ornament, the pearls, and some they kill for wool, some for bone, their meat, some for the meat, and some for the skin and the fur, and others helpless. Beasts are forced to work like a cow, oxes, buffaloes. So they are kicked and struck with whips, and the goats. So that's the suffering in the animal realms. Yidana, now hungry goes. For pretas too, there is not slightest break. Pretas too, there is no slightest break in the suffering from their unfulfilled desires. So what dire as a misery, right? Dire, right? Misery, they must endure some hunger, a thirst, and cold, and heat, and fatigues, and fear. So the generally the suffering in hell realm at the hungry ghost is the thirst and hunger. And thirst and hunger is the most, I think this is the most suffering in the hungry ghost. So that's why we call hungry ghost. And about the hungry ghosts, some, their mouths like needles, tiny, eyes, their, how's that? Needles, their mouth is like needles' eyes, very small. Their belly is huge as a mountain. Oh, that's too much. So, ache from want to food, want of food. So they want the food, they want to eat. They do not even have the strength to eat. So discarded, how's that, crops, right? Scraps, the smallest bit of the filth. Even the filth, the dirty, smallest, they try to eat. Some, their neck, body, skin, and bone are like a dried out top of the talus trees. It's like mango tree, the dried up mango trees. And some have mouth that, what's that? Belch forth fire by night into their burning mouth, and into their burning mouths send fall as food. Kaji tsashi, kani bawa de, sezu bawa kambar, kapa chema tsays. So this is kind of like, so the hunger is one of the very kind of powerful, sinful actions, result of sinful actions. Even, there's a judgment, one of the arhat during the Buddha Shakyamuni, so one of the arhat, the moment, the day he was born, in their families always eat from begging. And day he born, the family couldn't find anything to eat because he's very unfortunate. So every time he go for the begging, and all the beggars abandon him because if he comes to them, they cannot find any food. So that person, eventually meet the Buddha, and he attained arhat. So the after arhat, and then I think there was sometime the Buddha says, accept your karma. So arhat can deny, but arhat can accept the karmic result, something left over from many lives. Because I think 500 lives before, he the conditions, the death of his mother, the mother died with hunger and thirst, and just before she was dying, just before the death, and she said, can you please give me something to drink? And he put the dirt in the water and let her drink, and she died. So, and because of that karma, he born many times in hell realms. So, still there's some residues there. And when he is attained arhat, Buddha said, accept karmic result, finish it, And then this arhat, just before die, he could not eat anything. His mouth is just tight, could not open. And Shariputra, Mañjugosha, through the miracle power, they tried to open the mouth and put the food in it. They could not do that. So just to show the, the people, there is karma, and the result, it is, has a, you cannot underestimate on any negative karma. So negative karma, once you commit it, and you will face the consequences.
So he could avoid it, but Buddha asked him to accept it, so he also accepted it.
Accepted. So there are some, arhats, they were killed by other people. So there was another story that during the Buddha, there's all the Shakya lineages. While Buddha was there, and some of the Shakya lineage people killed by enemy and other country, the kingdoms. And then so normally when the Buddha present, in the presence of the Buddha, there is no such things happen. And then people ask Buddha, why this happened while you are there? And Buddha says, this was some kind of residue karmic from thousand life before. And there's the group of people, and he kind of ignored and let them die. So that's the result. So I think there's some, sometime you have some kind of physical presentations for the people to understand why the karma is so powerful, why you should, you should not lose faith in the law and cause and effect. So, Mary Gane, Nagda Shisata, Trason Bezawa Yedes. Few unlucky, hungry ghosts. One don't even find small dirt to eat. Pus and how's that? Excrement, or blood. So they hit each other in the face and eat the fuss and the festers from their swollen necks. Yeah, this is also kind of, for the ordinary people, it's very, very powerful to turn their mind into positive. I remember in the village, we have in Tibetan tradition now is that kind of tradition is, almost disappeared. There's a lay persons, and there's I think family lineages that do that. They bring the whole tanka, the picture of the Buddha, and then all the descriptions, many pictures there. And one there's man, and who will sing, and then some sutras, and then he explained with, with the, what do you call that, by singing, explain the hell realms, and then many, grandmothers, the grandfathers, this gathers. And they cry, ooh, so he explained hell realms. So this is called lama money. And after he finished making and maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, you just that. And then everybody brings the rice, some vegetables to give to him. He will bring it back. So
He's a monk? Or?
No. It's a lay person. So this is a lineage, their families, they're doing that. In the old time in Tibet. Now it's that tradition disappeared. Yeah. So it's kind of, for some people, this is, to way to tame your mind or to discipline the mind. So like children, we sometimes scold them and scare them and in order to discipline your children. Yeah, I'm going to finish this whole thing. For hungry ghosts, the summer moon too hot. Some of the hungry ghosts, the summer moon usually is cold. For them, it's too hot. In the winter time, the sun is far too cold. Even the sun, that increases the cold. So find trees. Fine tree in orchards wilt and lost their fruit. When they look at the fruit tree and they don't see the fruits and the leaves are not just dry tree, they see this because of their karma. So now, born as a constant misery and pain for 5,000 or 10,000 years, they will not die. So the 10,000 years, they're not dying. So that kind of suffering that, under the force of the karma, you cannot die. The cause of these pretas, the varied woes, and all the such kindred torment. Kindred means
of similar nature.
Yeah. All such kindred torment one might get is being greedy. So this is the Buddha said. Even they are in the hell realm, they still carries this habit, greedy, So even the whole rivers that are there, when they go to drink water and they see other people drinking, they get jealous, So even the river, there's no end, there's no exhaustions, but still they don't want others to drink. Stinginess is not for the sublime. Sena pami lapra sanje sons. Even the Turinaya, even in the higher realms, the pain of the death are more intense than is their greatest bliss. And so good people who reflect on this don't crave the higher realms, which soon must end. So now, finally saying this, even, if you really seek for reliable, sustainable peace, don't crave for higher rebirths. Craving for higher rebirth, like a human being and God beings. And this is still, if even you will, you may, in the next life, you may achieve that realms, but still it's not reliable. Anything that happened will end. So now they're saying that hell and the god realms, the suffering in the god realms, their bodies' colors cease to charm and please. So just before they die, just before the death happened, their bodies, the colors cease and charm and please. Because their seat grows hard and uncomfortable where they sit, and their flowered has a breath do wilt. So their garland, the flowers, the ornament start to deteriorating. So their clothes are stained. So normally when they are, healthy and they are well, and there's no stain in their clothes. So then the clothes start getting dirty, which means they are closer to die. And on their bodies now appears rank drops of the sweat they never had before. So even in the god realms, just before the death, maybe it's 1 week before they die, so they tremendous suffering and scared, because they see now it's going to end their life. These 5 are the signs that herald death in heaven. Even in heaven beings, people in the heavens, these kind of signs when they see within their body, so they're kind of scared to death, appearing to the God in their abodes. They are not unlike this. They are not unlike the signs of the death that warn of coming death in human on the earth. So some heaven beings, the God beings, just before this kind of, when this happened, the signs, they wonders where they are going to born, and they see the sign that they are going to born in animal realm or human realms, and then more kind of, the intense that's the kind of their fear, and they're afraid of losing their life and the friends. So those gods transmigrates from heavenly world and do not have some little virtue left, will tremble helpless to their just abodes as a beast or hungry spirit or in hell. Some, those heaven, God in the heaven realms, it's almost like there's nothing in their account. This total exhaust, nothing left for even a dime. So then they fall in the animal realm or hungry ghosts. Some there still have some saving account, so they may land on the human realms, human beings.
While they are in this heaven God realm, they are not accumulating any merits.
Because they don't really find any condition to desire to be something, to become something, to be better. It's always wondering, like it's like the teenagers in the club, So they're just enjoying, whatsoever they do. Samsara is, Asuras, okay. Now the demigod, the demigod, asuras, begrudged the gods their splendor. There has an inbred, bela dangers, inbred, loathing thus torment their minds. So they always jealous of the god beings. So they have this kind of, negative, harmful, get jealous. Even these are the part of the god realms, but demigods called it. Though clever, they are obscured as well. They are kind. Obscured, right?
Yes.
Obscured, yeah. And so it is. They cannot see the truth. So these demigods always get jealous of the wealth in the heaven, and they always dislike the heaven beings. That is their kind of mentalities. This is their culture. Because of this negative and harmful thought that obscure their mind to see anything they can do, the kind in the positive things. So demigod is because of the negative harmful thoughts. They could not do any positive things. The God in the heavens, they also, hardly do the positive things because they're too much, enjoying their life. So samsara is like this now. Samsara is like this. And thus we are reborn as God, as humans. What's that? Denizens in hell as ghost or animal, but you should know that the birth not good. You should know just being born in samsara is conditional suffering, conditioned to experience the suffering. It is like a pot, many ills, is a container of many ills. It is the condition that can, always tend to lead you to do something negative things. So the birth in second existing is the tendency is to do some, do some negative things, to do worse things. So therefore now the renunciations, once you generate renunciations, how it looks like renunciation is, give up your effort trying to stop all this as if your hair or clothes had just caught fire. So you kind of you have to act like you have no time. You have no time to do anything nonsense. You should put your whole effort to do something that could open the gateway for the liberations. It is like a person who has whose hair or the cloth has caught fire, so they will don't waste the time. Immediately they react. So which means now through the generate renunciations, and don't waste your time. Every moment, every condition they use to finding the path to the liberations. Yeah. So now all the good news starts. 105. So we'll do next Saturday. So I think this is like a way you cherish your mind, where you guide your mind, where you protect your mind, you always treat the mind like your own children. And sometimes in order for discipline the mind, you have to scare your mind by giving you the information of the hell drums, the animals, how many suffers in there. And then, if the mind have generate some kind of interest in, seeking liberations, then contemplate, listening the teaching of the Dharma, and try to gain the knowledge, dependent originations, generating compassion, and don't lose the faith in the cause and effect. So the losing faith in the cause and effect, faith in the cause and effect, and the faith in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, I think faith in the cause and effect is more powerful. So if you have faith or kind of understanding in the cause and effect, that will, become the protectors. And understanding impermanence is more kind of, so understanding the impermanence of life, understanding impermanence of the conditional things is the fuel you can drive your mind towards closer to the liberations. But faith in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, maybe you can use, I have faith in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So you may ask only successful, money, no ill, So the Buddha says, no, all of this that you have right now, the illness, unsuccessful, I did not do it. So that if you have faith, unshakable faith in the law and the cause and effect, and that, that very mind immediately react in kind of, the benefit to the mind, impact to the mind. So the faith in law and cause and effect and understanding the impermanence is most, this is called Dharma, is the protector. It's the protector of the mind. So Buddha's blessing is also through the faith in law and cause and effect. Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha's, the blessings through, the faith or kind of interest, desire to understand dependent originations, desire to generate compassion and bodhisattvas. The Buddha blessing is coming through that. Just having faith in Buddha is not enough. So teacher can protect you through his instructions, by following his instructions, not just liking the teachers. Yeah. Any questions? Because you've been listening to all the bad news. Chanju semjo rinpoche, majeba na jejuche, jeba nyamba mewajo, kondo pewajo. Tonye tawa rinpoche, majeba na jejuche, jeba nyamba mewajo, kondo pewajo. Pama simjen tamche, deda denjuche, ngendo tamche, tado tonwa. Chanju semba kana sushube, tadaguche, molam jubjuruche. Karera vekube shimazu, penda dewa maru jowe. Jerezama, tinzi jazoji, shabe sideba do denjuruche.
May the precious body mind not yet born arise and grow. May the bone have no decline but increase forevermore. May the precious mind realize emptiness not yet born arise and grow. May the bone have no decline but increase forevermore. Due to all these merits, may all father and mother sentient beings have all the happiness, and may all lower realms be empty forever. Wherever there are bodhisattvas, may all their prayers be accomplished immediately. In the sacred land surrounded by snow mountains, you are the source of all benefit and happiness. O powerful Trinity Tenzin Gyatso, remain in this world until samsara ends.
Thank you.